From Oleksandr Merezhko, who's a member of the Ukrainian Parliament and kindly joins me on the line now from Kiev. Welcome to you, Oleksandr. Let's start with, what was your reaction when you first saw this 28-point US proposal?
Well, thank you for having me. The problem is that this so-called peace proposal raises lots of issues to be answered. We don't know for sure what is the exact text, because this version, this text, which has been released in the mass media, we're not sure whether it's authentic or not. And we don't see any kind of official endorsement, either on the part of President Trump or on the part of Putin, that it's authentic text. Also, it seems like President Trump himself hasn't read this text. But if you take this text and start analyzing this, you can see very vividly that it's absolutely absurd, illogical, contradictory, and I would say absolutely unacceptable text containing Russian demands. Actually, it's a wish list, Russian wish list, nothing more. So, and there is lots of confusion about this very weird text.
I believe that in negotiations, this technique is called anchoring, where you start with a negotiation, there's a greater chance of where you end up being close to it. So do you think that might be part of the ploy? If you start with a very pro-Russian position, there's a greater chance of ending up with a result close to it.
Well, it seems to me that it's a part of Putin's provocation, because he is interested in Mr. Trump not imposing sanctions. And that's the reason, probably, because I don't see any change in Putin's approach, because he hasn't abandoned his maximalist, absolutely unacceptable demands with regard to Ukraine. His goal, and he's completely obsessed about this goal, is to subjugate Ukraine, to destroy us, to deprive us of our statehood. And Putin will never agree to any peace plan or any conditions which would allow Ukraine to survive as an independent state. That's why I don't believe in any prospects of this peace plan or peace process.
Volodymyr Zelensky's had to be very, very diplomatic in the way he speaks with Donald Trump. What do you think about Donald Trump's role in all of this? Because he gave Zelenskyy a deadline, quite a short one, for accepting this deal. Belittled him in the White House. He said he doesn't have the cards in this conflict. And again, it was said just in the last few days, we're not hearing any thank yous, we're not hearing any gratitude from Ukraine. Do you think that Trump is favouring Russia?
Well, it's hard to say. Well, to me, you know, President Trump blows hot and cold, unfortunately. He changes his stance because, you know, I firmly believe that if you're a serious politician, you should be consistent. And let us just recall that first initial proposal by President Trump was about ceasefire, unconditional ceasefire, and Ukraine agreed to this unconditional ceasefire, whereas Russia rejected. And President Trump promised many times to impose serious sanctions upon Russia, but unfortunately he didn't comply with his own deadlines. So that's why I don't believe much in deadlines set by President Trump. It's very confusing, because one day he makes very absolutely correct statement with regard to Ukraine. He's starting to believe in our victory and possible defeat of Russia. He's trying to impose sanctions on Russian oil companies. These are steps in the right direction, but the other day he seems to be changing his previous position. That's why it's very difficult to understand what he's up to.
Oleksandr, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Greatly appreciated. My guest, Oleksandr Merezhko, member of the Ukrainian Parliament.